A lot can happen in a week. Some of it good, some of it bad, some of it downright ugly. When faced with intriguing developments in the week's news, we turn to a rotating panel of non-experts to parse the good, the bad, and the ugly of it all. On today's panel, Natalie Arsenault, president of Arsenault International Consulting, Mustafa Tameez, media and public affairs consultant and the CEO of Outreach Strategists, and Lisa Falkenberg, editor of opinion for the Houston Chronicle. Natalie, Mustafa, Lisa, welcome to Houston Matters.
Thanks,
Howdy.
Craig.
Good to be back.
Panel, it's not just about the rodeo or Astros attendance or the Beyonce concerts or the Final Four. It's all of it and more. As our Sarah Grunow reported Wednesday, the Houston First Corporation says big-time conferences, concerts, sports, and other events last year drew a record 51 million visitors to Houston. That's up 5% from 2022. It mirrors record numbers at Houston's two airports last year, and the Greater Houston Partnership's forecasting some 10,000 jobs in leisure and hospitality being added this year in anticipation of big numbers again here in 2024. If you book it, they will come. Record visitors did last year anyway. Is this good, bad, or ugly? Natalie Arsenault.
I think it's great. I much rather see people visiting than moving. So I think it's fantastic that we had, you think about it, right? The population of the United States is like 360 million, and we got 51 million coming through Houston. That's awesome sauce, I think. So that's super exciting. It's also obviously creates jobs, and the fact that we're going to see even more with more events, more conferences, it's just greater revenue for the city, more opportunities for small businesses also. So I think it's fantastic. It's better than good.
All right. Good, bad, or ugly, Mustafa Tameez.
It is great. I remember I worked for Mayor White and his inauguration that evening, election night. We had it at the Hilton Hotel, and that was the first event at Hilton Hotel. It was like the first night that it was open. And I remember the town before the Hilton opened up, but then you saw the Discovery Green get built. You see the Marriott Marquis get built, and you saw the upgrades to George Brown Convention Center. And now we're talking about depressing 59 on the other side of the convention center and turning that into a park, and then developing the land around that for more convention space. So I think it's just become iconic. When you hang around Discovery Green, it says Houston. So I'm very excited about hosting so many people, so many concerts, conventions, and sharing our city with those that visit. Now, every now and then, Sarah Week just happened. You don't like the traffic. The rodeo happens. You get frustrated. You get stuck behind the trail ride, and you're wondering what's that on the ground, and it doesn't smell funny. Like those type of things happen, right? When you do a lot that in that kind of the core, there are some frustrations with it, but it's good for our economy, and I want to celebrate Houston with other people from outside. I think we're a world-class city.
Okay, good, bad, or ugly, Lisa Falkenberg.
It's great. And Mustafa, when I'm in traffic and there's nowhere to go, I'm like that cowboy at the rodeo who got on his horse, and I just take off in my mind, at least. And I love what Natalie is saying, like, y'all come, now y'all go back home. No, it's great, but just to add some intellectual diversity here, I wish that, Houston would spend as much time as we do promoting the city, promoting quality of life, and making it better for those of us who live here. We need sidewalks that people can walk down. We need, so much work in infrastructure to make it a safe place to live. If these folks who are visiting wander off a bit, if they want to take a walk, if they want to, we've got some amazing parks, but we need to just make it a place where people don't just come and leave. They come and they say, wow, I want to live here. Natalie does not want that, but I do.
If I may, Lisa's been on the highway on a horse in her mind.
That was worth the drive today.
I know.
Panel, while lots of visitors are coming to Houston these days, on the days surrounding April 8th, a fair amount of traffic's going to be heading out of town to communities that will be in the direct line of a total solar eclipse. Houston will experience a partial eclipse, but whether you're staying or heading to locales that get what I'm calling the full moonty, you need to have specialized glasses to check it out safely. The Houston Museum of Natural Science and Buc-ee's are partnering to provide those and other solar eclipse educational resources to hundreds of schools across Texas. Eclipse kits also include lesson plans, classroom activities, virtual programs, and educator training materials, all free of charge. When students gaze at the open sky on April 8th, they'll do so through paper eclipse viewers with the Buc-ee's beaver on them. Is this good, bad, or ugly? Mustafa.
It's good, but I'm just still stuck on the Natural Museum of Science and Buc-ee's. Those are two things I think that would go together. But, it is Houston, right? So
the 10th wonder of the world, perhaps.
That's right. That's right. Look, it's I think it's fun. I think the eclipse are great. I know that there's going to be the full eclipse is going to be between here and San Antonio, a lot of closer to San Antonio. I'm sure there's some people that are going to park in the middle of I-10. There's been some towns that have said, bring your own tent and bring your own chairs and, make sure that you've gassed up your car because you may not be able to get gas on the way because it's going to fill up. All those type of things are there. And I think, local businesses doing stuff like this, being part of the community, making these things fun, it's good. And Buc-ee's, I'd agree with everything that comes out of their organization. But it's a fun place. It's really Texas. For some reason, I've kind of adopted it from that standpoint. And so it's a good thing, Mr. Cohen.
All right. Good or bad? Good, bad, or ugly? Ms. Falkenberg.
It's fine. It's good. I don't know. I'm just kind of a weird person. The part of the human brain that's interested in things like eclipses is eclipsed in my brain. Don't tell my children because they're super excited. I'm always kind of like, yay, eclipse, yay. I don't
Space too.
get
Space,
it.
right?
I already
Space.
made that confession
Yeah.
a few months ago about space. Something is missing from my brain.
It'll be momentarily dark outside.
She just can't see it. She can't see it, Craig. She just can't see it.
I just can't see it.
Good, bad, or ugly? Ms. Arsenault.
Oh, the puns abound. So I think it's fantastic, too. I think it's great. I'm glad that they're using this opportunity, though, as a learning and educational point for kids. So that's really good. And that, we have some corporate sponsorship happening with Buc-ee's, and it's not something that we had to do as taxpayers. I'm always very appreciative of that. I think it's great. I actually think I could see a Houston Museum of Natural Science and Buc-ee's partnership collaboration in the long haul. You come in to see the dinosaurs, you grab some 100-year-old or 100,000-year-old beaver nuts or something. I don't know.
This is eclipsing me. And can she say beaver nuts on radio? Is that possible?
Can.
No?
It's beaver nuggets, isn't it? Beaver
Nuggets or nuts?
Nuggets.
I thought it was nuts, but okay, nuggets then. Either which
I
way.
don't know where your mind is.
Beaver things. You can grab beaver things.
It's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. Either way, it's great.
Panel, it's been 4 years since the pandemic began, and you'd think by now your fellow Americans would all be used to occasionally seeing someone masked up. You'd think they'd abide it. You'd think there's no reason anymore for anyone to throw a hissy fit over simply seeing that. You'd be wrong. As the Houston Chronicle's Octavia Johnson reported this week, actor Forey J. Smith, probably best known for portraying Lloyd Pierce on the TV series Yellowstone, says an airline here in Houston kicked him off a plane for refusing to sit next to a passenger wearing a mask. Smith said he just told them I didn't feel comfortable about it, and in his words, I'm off the plane. Smith also admitted he had been drinking while waiting at the airport for about 3 hours before boarding, so maybe it wasn't just him doing the talking. Yellowstone actor Forey J. Smith is removed from a flight here in Houston for refusing to sit next to a masked passenger. Is this good, bad, or ugly? Lisa.
It's ugly. It is the worst of our society right there. We have no idea why that person was wearing a mask. Maybe they're immunocompromised. Maybe grandma was sick. But you're just looking over at them and deciding that the mask is some kind of flag for their ideology. It is insane. Now, I'm sure this is a great thing for that person who got extra leg room or an extra place to put their bag, who didn't have to sit next to him and smell whatever he smelled like after 3 hours of drinking. But whenever this happens, we talk about it, and, it's the spectacle and everybody kind of lines up on their side. But you have to just think, what are we doing here? What are these silly lines that we're drawing between ourselves? And most of the time, they're not based on anything except stupid assumptions and stereotypes.
All right, Natalie?
So I think it has elements of all three. I haven't had all three in a long time.
Gadley. We have a Gadley.
We have a Gadley.
Bring it on.
We have a Gadley. So, one, I think it's good that someone was wearing a mask, because it seems like we've all departed from the masks. And I know when I fly, I typically wear a mask through the airports, not because I'm sick, but mainly because it's a lot of germs floating around and I just really don't want any of them. I also think that it's bad in the sense that, to Lisa's point, we kind of are making snap judgments. But I do understand where he's coming from, because as I walk through an airport with a mask, I always wonder, do people think I have like Ebola or something? You just wonder, why is the person wearing a mask? While it's no one else's business, of course. But it does creep through your mind, are they the ones that's sick? And do I really want to be near you if you are sick, even if you're wearing a mask? And I think it's ugly, because I think there was a better way that the airlines could have handled it. Right now, I don't know if he was belligerent or not, or, whatever the case may be, but I feel like they could have easily asked if someone else wouldn't have mind trading seats with him, potentially. I mean, there was a lot of other ways to possibly handle it, as long as he wasn't out of control and belligerent and being disrespectful. So
I can't speak to whether he was or not. I can only speak to, he admitted he had been drinking while waiting at the airport for about 3 hours before boarding.
Which we should not jump to stereotypes to assume.
Fair enough.
Unlike how he assumed.
Fair enough.
But we should not. He may be a mellow drunk.
That's
true. He may not have even been drunk.
That's true, too. Good, bad, or ugly, Mustafa?
I'm eclipsed by this. No. It's ugly. I remember traveling after STARS. This is way before the pandemic, overseas in Asia. And mask wearing became common. Like anytime there was a big convention or a big meeting with a lot of gathering of people, there'd be a large percent of people in the in kind of like the Asian subcontinent that people would wear a mask. And I think now we're seeing it. The other day I was going to El Paso and I just had this severe allergies. And as I was getting out of my car at the airport, I grabbed my mask and put it on, because I didn't want to sneeze and sit next to somebody on the plane and make them nervous, right? So I was kind of wearing it because if I sneeze or if my eyes were watery or something, someone doesn't feel uncomfortable that I'm sitting next to someone who's sick, right? That's kind of where my brain goes. A lot of times, people put on masks not just to protect themselves, but if they have a cold or something and you're going in the public space, it's how you protect each other that way. So it's more common sense than anything. And I think we probably have, as Lisa's point about autoimmune disease, we have more of autoimmune disease. We have more people that are struggling with cancer or other things. They're going through treatment that they can't pick up a germ, right? They're immunocompromised. So it's just become part of our life, right? And we have to be conscious of that. And she's kind of ruined the Yellowstone show for me, because I've been watching Yellowstone. I think it's very compelling. It's really interesting to watch. And all of a sudden, you go do something stupid. Now, every time I watch it, I have to think about this. So that's why it's ugly. But for the most part, I would like it if people listening to this discussion walk away from it, thinking that next time someone's wearing a mask, they're probably doing it to protect you, not just themselves. Mm-hmm. And if we think of it that way, it makes this process a lot easier.
I think, to sum up, more good than bad this time around. We had a Gadley. We haven't had a Gadley in a while. This is a pretty good installment. I'm feeling good about this.
If we have a thing where Lisa can have an openness for space and this stuff, that would be good. Like, that would be really
Work on me. Just keep working on me.
really good. Like, we live in Space City, you know? I mean, yeah.
In the middle of the day, it will suddenly be dark out, and then it won't.
Amazing.
Like, yeah, whatever.
Amazing.
Yeah, no. Stick to the puns.
I tried. Natalie Arsenault is president of Arsenault International Consulting. Mustafa Tameez is a media and public affairs consultant and the CEO of Outreach Strategists. And Lisa Falkenberg is the editor of opinion for the Houston Chronicle. Natalie, Mustafa, Lisa, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.